This is a stump. It's about 14 feet across. The customer tried to excavate it for some reason all the way around the edges, at least 3/4 of the way around the edges. I don't know why he did it, but he thought he was saving time and money and actually made the job much harder. You see all these berms of dirt and debris that he made around the edges. That means I can't get to it anymore. So I had to start on the other side. We'll be coming around the other side in a second in the video, but once you see where I have to start, you'll notice that there's only a small area where I can come into it and actually start grinding. Everywhere there's grass is pretty much the area that I didn't do, and then everything else. That top of that is about 5 feet across. Hard to tell in a video like this, but then the roots go out about 6 feet left and 6 feet right, or all the way around, however you want to look at it. It was 14 feet, literally, the part that I had to grind, and it was about 3 to 4 feet thick. I told him I was going to make a boatload of mulch, and I'm really not set up to haul that stuff away, but we made arrangements for it. You can see how much work this guy did. It took him like a week to get that chopped up. Yeah, this is sped up a little bit, but it's just too monotonous to run it at a slow speed. You have to move in from one side, grind as much as you can right up to a certain point, and then move the grinder to a new position so that you can eventually work into it. You'll see me change positions at least a half a dozen times in this. At this point, the cutters are cutting pretty well, but we ran into a whole bunch of debris in the stump, pieces of cement, bricks, whatever. It started to dull the teeth pretty bad towards the end. But you can't really change the teeth out, because if there's so much debris in there, there's no point in putting new teeth on there, because you end up chipping them, dulling them, and each tooth is like $13. So $300 for a set of those things on there, and you can ruin them in a half a second if you hit something big. All right, it looks like we're still operating at 3 times speed. We're going to speed it up here in just a minute so that you don't have to go through an entire 3-hour process with us. I think we were actually there 2.5 hours on this one. I think we're getting ready to speed this up to like 5 times speed. How close are we? Just tell me. The
next one is.
Okay. As usual, you move forward an inch and a half, inch and a half, whatever. Take a few bites as you swing back and forth through it. Okay, this one's at 5 speed. Wish I could work that quick. This is condensed from roughly 2.5 hours of grinding down to, what, 8 minutes? Of course, the whole thing wasn't recorded. We've got some really, oh yeah, here's some, I have to move this out of the way just so I can get in and work. So this is another reason why not to dig one of these things out. These guys, I really don't know how long they worked at this. It looked like a lot. They had pickaxes and shovels and hatchets and all kinds of stuff in there for days and days working on this. And It didn't, all it did was slow me down. Even a machine like mine on tracks, as large as it is, my machine's 12 feet long, and that stump's 14 feet across. If that gives you any idea of the scale of what you're seeing. This stump's real close to being 3 feet thick, from the top of the stump where it was cut all the way down to the bottom part of the root that we had to get out of there. At the end of this, I think we're going to tack on a real fast time lapse of the entire process. I think this is coming down to the very last part. You have to be careful on this because those roots that I'm working on right there, once you detach them from the stump, they're not really, they're just sitting on the dirt, so to speak. There's not a lot holding them in place. You have to worry about getting chunks thrown out. We had to stop and take pieces out as they loosened up. This might be the last few cuts on this, right there. Now the area we cut on this, again, 14 feet across, but because they had dug out all that, they probably took up 25 feet.